So we got a group of media here on the call as well.
Okay.
So maybe can we just start off by how you feeling? How was first day of practice?
Felt good. Felt good to be out here with the guys, and we were all flying around, so definitely felt good to just put some cleats on and kind of move around.
Great stuff. Hey, first question is going to come from Jacob Unruh of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Malcolm, how's it going?
We're good. How are you?
Good. Hey, can you kind of, you announced that you had a positive COVID test early in the summer. Can you kind of walk us through what you went through during all that?
Well, the medical staff allowed me to go home because I was so close to being home. So I went home. I was in a camper the whole time. And I stayed away from the family, and my mom had to bring me some food out on the step. And so that was just my whole thing, just chilling in the RV by myself and just getting food brought to me. So just staying away from my family.
Did you have a bunch of symptoms? Did you ever?
No, I never experienced any symptoms. And I mean, that's why, it was kind of scary. It kind of shocked me when I first came down and they told me I was positive. And so I had to go back home and just quarantine for 4 days. So it kind of surprised me.
Do you feel safe returning now?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the medical staff here does a very good job of, making sure the procedures are good, everything's tight, and keeping everything sanitized. So I feel safe for sure.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Next question comes from Robert Allen. Go ahead, Robert.
There we go. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. First of all, tell us about the hairstyle, the hair color.
The hair color, it's just one of those things. I was kind of just bored on quarantine, so I just suggested to my parents and my aunt. She did my hair. I was like, hey, let's change something up. I'm getting bored over here on quarantine, so it's just something new. I'm just letting it grow out.
All right, the serious question with social distancing, not always being able to hang out with your teammates because it's not the safest thing to do. How well do you feel this team is together starting practice? And do you have the same feeling as a regular fall camp, or is it a different feeling?
No, it's definitely – I feel like it's the same because, we still got our mask on. I mean, we can still talk from 6 feet away. And so I feel like, we're all bonded. We've known each other for a while, and we got that chemistry where, we can still talk. And, I mean, most of the guys, we all play Call of Duty. So, I mean, we all talk on there. So it's not like we're, separated, forever. I mean, like I said, we just play Call of Duty together. We just, we still talk outside of things even though we're not together.
Maybe even more prepared from an X and O standpoint because of all those meetings?
You say what?
Maybe even more prepared from an X and O standpoint because of all the meetings?
Oh, yes, on going online with Zoom and everything. So we all stay connected on Zoom and everything. So I feel like, I mean, it's not like we were distance. We were distance, but we were still staying in contact on Zoom.
Thanks.
Question comes from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Malcolm, what is it like playing with the mask on, and talk about those face shields that are on the helmets as well?
Definitely a little harder to breathe, but I mean, like I said, the procedures here are tight, and they're doing their job to keep everything safe for us. But so it's just one of those things you just got to get used to.
Is that face shield kind of different?
It's a little different, It gets foggy up in there, hard to see, so it's definitely got to wipe it down. But I mean, like I said, you just got to one of those things you got to play through.
Next question comes from Cody Nagel of Scout. Cody, you there? All right. Moving on. Next question comes from Garen Emig of the Tulsa World.
Malcolm, thanks for stopping by and chatting, man. Appreciate it. There's just a handful of players around the country who have elected not to play this year for safety reasons. Why is it important for you to play this season?
I mean, it's my senior year, and for me, I mean, I do it for my team. I mean, if the team's not with it, I mean, it's for whatever they want. But we have put guidelines in, procedures in that makes us that we could play, where we can play. And so I trust the medical staff here, and so does everybody else.
Did you have any heart-to-heart conversations with family members to make sure that your family was on board with you playing?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even my parents said, just listen to medical staff up there and the doctors. And so that was a big talk over there when I was on quarantine when I got back. So definitely just, like I said, listening to the medical staff.
Okay, thank you.
Next question comes from Jacob Unruh, the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Malcolm, I'm kind of curious. You've seen the Pac-12 players unite and the Big Ten players unite and have some demands about safety precaution stuff with COVID. Has there been any talk among you guys about anything like that?
I have not heard any talk about that at all.
Do you have any concerns about any of the precautions being taken or anything?
Like I said, I'm just going with the medical staff, and I trust them with my health, and I'm sure everybody else does here too.
Do you feel like players are being allowed? They're not being marginalized. They're allowed to sit out if they want or anything like that?
Oh, for sure, everyone's got their own opinion and their own voice, and their own man.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Next question comes from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman.
Malcolm, let's talk a little football. What do you see from the guys behind you and Eamon there at linebacker, and anybody stand out through what you've been able to do so far on the field?
Definitely got a lot of young guys coming in, and just first day practice, and they're just coming in trying to get used to the way we do things here, but definitely standing out. Jeff and Cole and Mason Cobb and all of them flying around. So that's what you want to do when you first come in, just fly around, have fun, just run to the ball. But definitely those guys. Then you got Lamont. I mean, you got a lot of guys coming in. So definitely just got to work with the coaches, and it will be great to see what they do here.
Lamont's a little bit different style of player, at least built differently than some of the rest of you guys. What's he like?
Yeah, it's fun to be around. He's always asking Eamon and I, giving us knuckles and everything, seeing like what he can do better, what he can improve on, and we give him our feedback since we've been playing here for a while. So we just give him our feedback and what's the plays and schemes and all that.
All right, thanks, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Last question for Malcolm before we move on to Kasey Dunn will come from Frank Bonner of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Malcolm. I just wanted to ask, with everything going on with COVID and all the off-season stuff, at the pep rally, you guys were pretty adamant about, contending for a national championship. As a team, how do you guys stay focused through all of this to continue to strive for the goal you guys have this season?
It's just, those leaders come out in you and just, just got to keep everybody together, stay in touch, but definitely just leading like off the field and on the field from a distance. But definitely, we all have that same goal. It's not going to change no matter what.
Appreciate it, Malcolm.
All right, Malcolm, thank you so much for joining us after practice here today. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. All right, Malcolm.
Hello.
Coach Dunn, how are you?
I'm doing well, Gavin. How are you?
Good, doing well. Good to see you. Hey, if you don't mind, we've got a group here of about 18 media folks. If you can maybe start us off with an opening statement, just kind of general what's going on and how you feel, and then we'll take questions from there.
Sure. Well, we just finished up, and Coach Gundy asked me to step in for him. He's got a lot going on, obviously, with his family. So here I am. You're stuck with the old man today, but it was a good practice. The guys ran around. They played well. It was good just to be back out again. Some sort of normalcy, and yell at some guys for a little bit and watch a few dudes run around and make some plays. So that's pretty much what we got after today. It was short. It was sweet. We're off the field already. It wasn't a long practice. Obviously, we're just trying to get guys back into the flow of things again. So it was good. It was a good start.
Very good. Thank you. Our first question comes from Jason Elmquist of the Stillwater News Press. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Kasey, how's the family doing?
Good, Jason. How are you?
Not too bad.
Good.
Talk about some of the hurdles that you had to overcome and the adjustments you've had to make to prepare for this upcoming season in a pandemic-driven world.
It's just like right now. We're dealing with it right here. It's everything's through Zoom. You lose that personal effect when you're working with the kids, especially young guys like this. And it's just hard to make that impact that you want to make, over a computer. So some of the adjustments we've had to make, like I've already said, it's Zoom world. And it's hard to hold our guys a little bit accountable for, what they're learning and what they're getting, in this technological world. So the best we can do is do it through computers. So that's where we are now. But it was good the last couple of weeks to be able to start getting face to face again, and move towards a little bit of a normal routine for us. So we took the field today and had a pretty good practice, all things considered, since we've been learning over the computer for the last 2 months.
Has it made it easier, the fact that you've been in the system for so long? A lot of these guys that you have on the offensive side have been here a couple of years, so they know what to expect. Has that made it a little bit easier during all this?
Yeah, a little bit. It's always like that. Every year you pretty much have a set of veteran guys that you count on. So I don't know how much different it is right now. And then you also have the rookies that come in, the guys with their names taped to their helmets, and those are the ones that you worry about. Those are the guys that really have had the hardest time transitioning right now. It's just because even with them, everything was on Zoom for forever and a day, it felt like. And normally in June, we'd start meeting with those guys face to face and being able to, work them through some of the kinks, and then they can come out and operate, fairly smooth on day one. This was different, so with our 2s and our 3s, there were definitely some hiccups today, but I'm sure everybody else in the country is doing the same thing and feeling the same thing.
Thanks, Kasey.
Next question comes from Robert Allen.
Kasey, how are you doing?
Good, Robert. Good.
Hey, you've got a couple of new receivers, and you've got some very proven guys. How do you kind of blend that here early in practice to, first of all, get everybody acclimated, and then find out really what everybody's best at doing? And I know D. Anderson's got to be, with his tall and lanky body, he's got to be an interesting addition to the group, as well as Brendan Presley, the young, electric freshman.
Yeah, no, it's fun getting those guys out and going. D is definitely going to make an impact this year, and Braden and D are competing for that X spot right now. So Tylan is shoring up that Z, and as you know, Dylan's inside along with Landon. So I feel really good where we are as a receiving core right now, and those guys have been fantastic. The new guys, D has been unbelievable, working himself into the fabric of what we do here at Oklahoma State, and the young guys too. It's a great young group of receivers for us. They're just good dudes, and Brennan obviously is a special player. He's going to be a very good player for Oklahoma State for a long time, but he's got to wait his turn. It's going to be pretty hard to unseat Dylan.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, Kasey.
Yes, sir.
So both Kasey Dunn and Tylan Wallace have position meetings, so we're going to be down to our last 2 questions here for Kasey Dunn. Next question will come from Garen Emig of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Yeah, hi, Kasey. Thanks for stopping by. Would you say you're confident or hopeful that you guys are going to get a season in at this stage?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm just along for the ride right now, and I don't know. Obviously, I hope we get it in because that's why we're here. We're trying to get this football going. But shoot, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine, and hopefully get it done. So I guess it's hopeful.
Fair enough. Quick follow-up. I wanted to get your perspective, a guy who's got a real vested interest in college football, having coached for 25 years, I think it's been. Are you encouraged by sort of the player empowerment movement that seems to be developing in the sport right now, or is there any part of it that leads you to be a little skeptical about it?
You know what? I wish I was probably more in tune to what's going on. I'm not one that follows Twitter a whole lot. I really don't pay too much attention to some of those things. Unfortunately, Tom, I have tunnel vision on my guys and the offense, and going from there. I probably need to dig into it more, to be honest with you. I think it's good that our players have a voice. I really do. I think it's important to get all angles and all perspectives to deal with what's going on in the future. So I definitely think that part of it's a good thing.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, our last question will come from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Yep.
Hey, Kasey, I know you didn't get to see all of Tylan's rehab up close, but what was it like? What you did get to see, and how's he looking right now?
He looks good. He moved around well today, and we're getting him out there and trying to protect him as much as we possibly can, and just get him confident again on that leg and on that knee. But after practice, it looks and sounded like he felt pretty good. So very encouraging there. And I'm excited, obviously, to get Tylan back. Great player and a great kid. And he's such an impact for our team, even just as a person. So him on the field is a huge boost for us. But to answer your question specifically, he looked good on that leg.
Thanks, Kasey.
You bet.
Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us here for a little bit.
All right. Thanks, guys. Go Pokes.
Tylan, it is good to see you back in a football setting, my friend.
Good, good.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Actually, really good after today.
Good. Moving around okay?
Oh, yeah. Real good.
All right. Well, very good. Well, hey, we've got a group here of about 17 media folks that are interested in hearing from you as well. So we're just going to go ahead and open up to questions. First question comes from Frank Bonner of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank. Frank, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, Tyler, I just want to ask, with you having your knee and everything in the midst of this COVID, what were some of the challenges for you to getting back with, having to be social distance from your team and so on?
Yeah, obviously being able not to be around the guys every day, have going into meetings and just working out, you're always close with the guys that you work out with, especially, us as a receiver group, we're a pretty tight group. And just, not being able to really hang around them and be around them all the time. And even outside of just the facility, when we're out just hanging out and stuff, we weren't really necessarily been able to do that. So that was a couple of challenges that were really tough for us.
Appreciate it.
Our next question comes from Jason Elmquist of the Stillwater News Press. Go ahead, Jason. Jason, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Tylan, talk about not Chuba specifically, but the movement that has been going on across the country, really, and the impact that you guys hope to have as football players to use your voice to hopefully get a change for the social unrest across the country.
I think it's really good. I mean, what Chuba did was a really brave thing. I feel like that a lot of people really just weren't really up to or didn't feel comfortable doing. And I feel like it was really brave of him to go out there and do that and create that movement for us, realize that we have a voice and we need to speak up on what's right, what's wrong, and what we believe in. So I feel like that's a really good thing that Chuba did.
Thanks.
All right. Next question comes from Robert Allen. Go ahead, Robert. Robert, you're on mute.
Okay, yeah, I'm off now. I always have to remember to unmute. Tylan, I was going to ask you the same thing that I asked Malcolm. With the social distancing, with all of that, do you feel as unified and as together and like your teammates as well with this fall camp going into it as maybe past?
Obviously probably not as much as we have been in the past, obviously, just due to everything. But I think we try to work with what we can. We try to get to know them as much as we can. We try to hang out as much as we can, as long as we're following, all the rules that are set in place. But, it's obviously, it's definitely a little tougher to get to know the guys when you can't necessarily be around them all the time.
Are you finding it hard to find things to do when you're not at the facility that just keep you away from people, or are you pretty disciplined in that mode?
Oh, no, I'm pretty disciplined in that mode. I don't really do much when I'm at home. I usually play the game or, if I really want to, hang out with them, I'll probably just find them online and play with them through the game system or something like that. But I'm a pretty homebody. I don't really do much.
Thanks.
Next question. Garen Emig of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Garen.
Tylan, thank you very much for stopping. Appreciate it. Handful of players in college football have elected not to play out of health concerns related to COVID. Why have you decided to press on and play this season?
Obviously, I feel like we can do special things here at Oklahoma State. just going in. I came back for a reason, and I'm standing on that reason right now. It's just a big thing for us. I feel like we have a lot in store, and I feel like we can do big things here. So I'm just here for the ride.
Do you sympathize or understand the reasons of those who aren't going to play? I mean, is that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I know. I've seen a couple guys that had plenty really good reasons. I mean, they had family issues, or some guys might even have kids. And obviously you don't want to bring that home to your kids, or injury issues. I completely understand from a player standpoint why they do and what they're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Next question comes from Jacob Unruh, the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, Tylan, how's it going?
Very good.
Good. Hey, what do you think of the precautions that you guys are taking for COVID?
I mean, they're kind of tough, obviously, having to wear a mask everywhere, not being able to, being able to 6 feet apart away from each other, it's obviously really tough. But I mean, we got to do whatever we have to do to prevent the spread of it and be safe and be healthy. So whatever we have to do, we'll do it, but it is really tough.
Do you feel like you guys can play football and no one get infected?
That's a tough question. I feel like it's going to be really hard to. I'm pretty sure we're going to do the best that we can not to, but I think it's going to be a really tough situation to play and not be able to spread it.
What do you think of the face masks that you guys are wearing? Those are interesting. How are those working out?
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of it, but I mean, like I said, we have to do what we have to do to be able to play football. So if that means I have to wear it to play, then you have to do that.
How different is that for you?
Oh, it's real different. Especially me, I'm used to wearing a pacifier mouthpiece, so I can't really wear that. It'll fog my stuff, the helmet all the way up. But it's real different. But it's different for almost everybody in the country. So can't really use that as an excuse. So I just got to go out there and really play.
Thanks.
All right, Dan, our last couple questions here for Tylan before he goes to position meetings. Next question's from Frank Bonner of the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Tyler, looking at national attention that OSU got this offseason after Chuba spoke out and the relationship with Gundy and players, how do you guys take that and as a team move forward to continue to try to accomplish what you guys are trying to accomplish on the field this season?
I feel like, it kind of brought us closer together as a program, honestly. I feel like the players are a lot closer and we're getting a lot closer with the coaches and trying to understand each other more. So I feel like that's a big key, especially when you're trying to do things that we're trying to do, especially win championships. So you have to be close together as a team and also with the coaches. So I think that actually brought us together and hopefully will help us reach our goals.
So you would say a lot of positives have come out of the off-season situation stuff?
Definitely, I would say that.
Appreciate it, Tyler.
All right, last question comes from Scott Wright of the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Tylan, just give us a little bit of insight in what some of the rehab looked like for you, especially when you were at home and before you got to report back to campus.
Yeah, that was tough for me. At home, I was trying to make work with whatever I had. I was at one point I was doing squats with cat litter, 40-pound box of cat litter. So I was trying to do anything I could to make it work. I was working out at home in my living room. I was jogging around trails. I was doing whatever I could to try and stay in shape. It was definitely tough, but it was definitely worth it now.
I'm hoping you have a cat. You weren't just picking up random boxes of cat litter.
No, so yeah, my brother has a cat. Yeah.
Once you got back, was it a little bit more convenient to get back to work on the rehab?
Oh yeah, for sure. Coming in and actually going into the training room and actually doing rehab stuff where they have the right equipment and everything that I need was definitely a big boost from a cat litter box. But I think that definitely was a big help with me in my rehab process.
Thanks, bud.